You guys love scam videos. I have another one for you. $800 spent and some of the work wasn't even done. Let's get started. This is a 2009 Toyota Corolla. It's actually one of our really good customers. But they called in not too long ago to get some services done, and we were so swamped. We were 3, almost 4 weeks out. This customer said, I can't wait that long. So they decided to chance it at another local shop. Again, I'm not going to name names. I don't have time in and out of court to be trying to defend myself. You guys know the game. It's back here with more problems than it had originally. There's some services that are claimed that were done. I just checked not too long ago, here a little bit before we started filming. They were not done. I feel really bad for this situation. And the second thing I want to show you guys today, some people have commented in the past that they believe my prices are too high. You just wait until I show you what these people charged this guy. I would have been a 50% discount just to come here. I wish we could have fit him in, but we were just swamped. And one thing you're going to find with any mechanic shop, if they're good and they're honest, you're going to have to wait. Because everybody in the community is going to want to get their cars in. And I could hire 100 mechanics. I could probably still be full. So there's no real solution to that. You just have to work at what you can. And also, as big as this building is, it still can only fit so much throughput. So it is what it is. So here I have the invoice for the repairs that were wanted to be done or that were done. And as you can see, no name repair shop. We're not going to give that name out. It went in originally, no crank, no start. They did replace a battery. It shows here that they had some issues with a weak battery. And the customer said while you're there, clean the throttle body and the mass airflow sensor if it's needed. And they did charge them for that. And they also recommended several other things that the customer declined. But the customer did pay for a battery, a throttle body cleaning, and an airflow sensor cleaning just for those 3 items. Almost $800. Let that sink in for a minute, guys. Close to $1,000 for a battery and to clean 2 items on the engine. That took probably 10 minutes. They also recommended a BG induction service, all new spark plugs, TPMS system diagnostic, and a PCV valve, with the PCV valve just alone being $400. I'm going to set this aside, and then we're going to show you guys I found some scam kind of business going on. Have you noticed that most of my videos are about cars that have weird, elusive problems that we have to chase down, and when we find the source of the problem, it usually requires a major teardown. What you don't see in these videos is the constant stress of finding the source of the issue with customers breathing down our necks to get their car back. Add in the frustration of finding all the various parts and then getting them shipped to the shop quickly, it's enough to make you pull your hair out. Or wait, maybe that's why I'm bald. There are many times each month it would be nice to have someone to vent all these problems to. I love Mrs. Wizard too much to burden her with them. That's why today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is online therapy to connect you with a licensed therapist who is specifically trained to listen to you and give you helpful, unbiased advice. All you have to do is go to betterhelp.com/carwizard, answer a few easy questions, and BetterHelp will match you to a professional that knows exactly how to help you with what you are struggling with. Don't worry if you can't make a normal 9-to-5 appointment time. You can schedule meetings when you're available, either by phone, video chat, or messaging, whichever you prefer. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you, all from the comfort of your home. Visit betterhelp.com/carwizard or choose CarWizard during sign-up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. Don't take your frustrations home. Let BetterHelp's trained professionals help you. Now back to this scam job. So 3 items: a battery, airflow sensor cleaning, and a throttle body cleaning. Let's find out, for $800 almost, what did this customer get? Also, by the way, before I open the hood, this customer has some sound insulation. They think that they hear a noise. It is kind of strange, but it's their car. We're not going to tear it apart. We're not going to pull it out. It's what he wants. He's had it there for a long time with no trouble. So it's there. I'm not going to mess with it. Let's go ahead and get this hood open. They paid for a new battery. And we do see, it looks like they did get a new battery here. It's a Continental. And they put some cleaner or some kind of spray on there, anti-corrosion. So yes, they got a new battery. Next is an airflow sensor cleaning. I'm going to go ahead and get a screwdriver, pull that off, and we're going to take a look inside together. So there's three, I guess you call them, there's a thermistor and some resistors. I'm not exactly sure what the little tiny electrical components are, but I can see that they're not clean. Let me see if I can show it to you guys. So at the bottom of that sensor, you can see looks like two little white lines. Those are little electrical components. And the one on the left is definitely got a severe gray fuzzy coating, almost like fuzz or lint or something, but it's definitely dirty. Let's check the other electrical component. And there you can see a little red colored electrical component. It's very tiny, and the ends of it also have a gray fuzzy coating on it. I usually don't clean airflow sensors because sometimes it can actually ruin them. I've seen them where you go to clean them and now they don't work at all. If you have one that's on the brink of failure, you could go ahead and finish it off by spraying it. But sometimes it really can help. But if you're going to attempt it, please don't use brake cleaner or use something very, very strong solvent. There's two things you should use: actual mass airflow sensor, or you can use electrical contact cleaner, which it must say safe for sensitive electronics. I'll go ahead and go get a little can of it and I'll show you. Here we have CRC QD electronic cleaner, and it clearly says it is safe for sensitive electronics, i.e. an airflow sensor. So I'm going ahead and clean that off, and then we'll show you what it looks like when it's clean, when it actually is cleaned. Now you're going to let it air dry. Make sure you get all the heavy liquid out. And then you're going to set it down. You're not going to just plug it back in. You're going to let it air dry for about 15 minutes. So we'll let that sit.
Okay, Wizard, so while that is drying, why would somebody need to have their mass airflow sensor cleaned?
It can get accumulated very fine dust particles that go through the air filter. They're so fine. And it can collect on those sensitive electronics, and it can give a faulty or erroneous reading, which I'll show you on the scan tool once we get this done, after the cleaning is done. Something I learned years ago, it still applies today, and it's usually correct. So while that's drying, let's go ahead and take this cover off and see if they cleaned the throttle body as they claimed that they did. So what we're going to be looking for, as we've got the throttle body opened up so we can look at it, where the throttle blade almost contacts the bore, the throttle bore, it should be shiny, clean metal. There should be no dark spots, no gum, no buildup or anything like that. So let's take a peek and see how dirty it is. But if it is dirty, it needs to be clean. One thing you're going to need is an old toothbrush. Mrs. Wizard, do you happen to have one?
I do, dear. Here you go.
This is my toothbrush.
No, it's not. That's Daisy's.
Daisy's?
Yeah. The cat, you know, my anniversary gift.
It's got cat hair on it.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what happens when you clean a cat's mouth. Their hair is kind of right there.
You've been cleaning the cat's mouth with my toothbrush?
Well, she needs a toothbrush after all. I mean, I told you I was using that one. I told you to stop using it.
Well, I'm definitely getting a new one when I get home.
Well, I guess. I mean, Daisy's losing her toothbrush too. I mean.
Anyways, we're going to use my old toothbrush that has been formerly be used on a cat's mouth. Thanks, Mrs. Wizard.
You're welcome.
So we'll take a look in the throttle bore. As I said, it should be shiny, clean metal. There should be no dark rings, no dark gum or anything like that. Without even touching the throttle blade, I can already see that there's a black ring around it. Let's take a look. You can see around the bottom here, there's a very dark ring. And I don't know if you can see it, there's one along the top as well. But there's definitely some gummy substance there. So does that look like it's been cleaned to you guys? It's still got a lot of debris in there. You're idle. the way the engine idles, since these don't have an idle motor, is actually set by the throttle body. And over time, as that gets gummed up, it starts making adaptations to compensate for the buildup. And then when you do clean it, we'll show you here in a minute, you have to reset the parameters. So now I'm going to use my dirty old toothbrush that's been used to clean a cat's mouth, and we're going to clean the car's mouth. So I'm going to show you the cleaner I'm going to use. We're not obviously going to use electrical cleaner on this one. Also, don't use brake cleaner on the throttle body. There are electronics in there. I'll show you what we're going to use. This customer just had, supposedly, this service done right around 2 weeks ago, not too long ago, so it should be spotless clean in there, and it is not. We're going to be using BG throttle body and intake cleaner. It's made specifically just to do this job, not brake cleaner. I'm going to go ahead and spray some in there. We'll let it sit for a minute, and I'll use my cat mouth toothbrush and scrub it out. Let that set for a minute, and then I'll spray my toothbrush with some more, and we'll get in there and do some scrubbing. While it's sitting and kind of emulsifying that gum, let's now take a look at our mass airflow sensor. We know it's hard to see, but there's the two little lines. You can see it's a bright silvery metallic color now. It is not fuzzy and gray with basically like very fine fur or something. It's shiny metal now. And there on the little red sensor, which probably it's so tiny it's hard to see, but the fuzzy gray coating is also now gone away from there. That's the way it should look if it's truly been cleaned properly. So it seems like it's only been 30 seconds this has been sitting. It's actually been sitting a while we were doing other things and preparing to film. If this was cleaned only 2 weeks ago, in 2 weeks' time, it would not have collected that much debris. I checked the air filter, it's fairly new, so it's not letting all this dirt by. If it was cleaned, it wasn't done very well. I would venture to say, no, it wasn't cleaned. It is now. And no, we're not going to charge them $200 for that. It just literally takes 10 minutes. So now we know that that's been done. And yes, it's sad that they've paid previously to have this done. I can't help that. What's going on outside of this shop is outside of my control. I still have to charge for the work that I did. So we'll go ahead and put that back in. Put our little screws in. So now I'm going to spray my toothbrush and get in there and scrub that gummy black ring out. And again, if it was cleaned 2 weeks ago, we would not see a ring in 2 weeks. That ring has taken months or years to accumulate. So let's go ahead and clean it. Look at that, guys. I'm not even scrubbing that hard, and it's already it's just melting off. It's coming off really easy. When you open this up with your hand, don't open it like forcefully, really hard, all the way open. Just get it enough so you can get in there and scrub. Don't be forceful or mean to it. Spray a little bit more. So we got the bottom side done. Now we're going to do the top side, which has also already been soaking. This one you'll have to open it a little bit further so you can get your brush in there and clean it. Now while that's open, I'm going to go ahead and wash the debris down, and we'll let it dry.
So Wizard, does it hurt spraying that down into the throttle body?
No, if you sprayed the whole can, it might cause a check engine light. But a little bit is not going to hurt anything. Again, this is made by BG specifically for this job. So if it was going to ruin the engine, they probably would get sued pretty hard. They make a good product, so I know that's not going to happen. All right, so we let that dry off. It's been several minutes. You guys just saw a minute ago before I cleaned it, there was a very definite black ring of gunk around that throttle body, which again is not going to accumulate in 2 weeks' time. It takes a long time for that to accumulate. So was it clean before, which they paid, I don't know, $100, $200 for? Nope. Now it is. I'll prove it to you. You won't see a black ring anymore. You see shiny, clean aluminum. Let's take a look. I'm going to open this up a little bit and you guys can see. Look down here in the bottom. Spotless. Crystal clear and clean. That is a clean throttle body. So I just did those two items. It didn't take very long and it didn't cost $400. I'm going to go ahead and reassemble what I have here. I'm going to hook up the Autel scan tool and show you guys when you do clean your throttle body, the computer is going to do really weird things. And one of the things they complained about is at a stoplight, the RPM will drop really low. That is very likely because they had the battery replaced and a relearn was not done on the throttle body. But now that I've cleaned it, it as properly is clean now. It's going to do some weird stuff until I do a relearn on the throttle body to tell the computer, hey, you need to redo your idle speed. I've cleaned it, so here is where we're at now. So I'll go ahead and reassemble everything. Thanks, Mrs. Wizard. Did you use that on the cat as well?
No, that's a screwdriver. Why would I use a screwdriver on a cat?
I have no idea. Apparently my toothbrushes are now used for that. Okay, again, I'm not fully aware of what's going on with all this foam. The customer is very adamant that that needs to be left alone. I respect that. It's not your car. It's not my car. So we're going to leave it alone. And we'll go ahead and get our scan tool out. I don't think we should use this on the cat anymore, Mrs. Wizard.
Well, no, that would kill poor Daisy.
So I'll keep this in my toolbox.
Maybe that's best.
Okay, so I've got my little MS-906 hooked up. This is what I call the little guy. I have a medium guy and a big guy.
And you also have the little baby one, too.
Yeah, the Crap 123 by Launch. CRP 123. Which is also on our Amazon affiliates link in the description below if you want to look at that. And these are as well. So I've got everything loaded. This is called a hot function. It's something that's a quick link that you can get to do a procedure without going through a bunch of steps. So we'll go to the hot functions. You can see there's oil reset, immobilizer keys, trans adaptation, injector, steering angle sensor, all kinds of different things you can do. There's even airbag and VIN. We just worked on the throttle, so we're going to click that one. And look, reset the memory. That's what we need to do. Use this function to reset learned values after part replacement. Requires road test to relearn values. So we didn't replace the part, but we have cleaned it, so we're going to reset it and do a road test. A memory reset is required after, we didn't do that work, so that's not a big deal. Now resetting. We have to wait for 40 seconds. So you notice when I just started it, it stumbled and died. It's because I reset it and it's like, what? Okay, I need to start from scratch, which we've done. We're going to go take it for a road test here in a minute, off camera. But I want to show you, if you go through the PID data and choose airflow sensor, the grams per second on a healthy car should match a little bit above the engine liter size. And as this comes, it's continually dropping. It should be about 2.5, which it is slowly getting to that since we reset it. I learned that trick a long time ago from a class that I took that was taught by an electrical engineer and also an automotive electrical. He worked for GM. He was a guru. He said this doesn't work on supercharged or turbocharged cars. Those numbers are going to be skewed. But on a naturally aspirated engine with no modifications, with the AC off, it's warmed up, just idling, the grams per second should match just a little bit above the engine liter size. So if it's a 3.5 liter engine, I would expect to see 3.8, maybe 4 grams per second on a healthy engine. It's never failed me in years, thousands of uses. That has never failed me. There's been times where I have a 4-liter V6 in and I go to read the grams per second, it's 1.9. I know that's a bad airflow sensor. And we go and replace the airflow sensor and the concerns that the customer had are gone. It has always worked every single time. So we're at a 1.8 liter. Take a look now, it's warming up. 2.5, and I imagine that'll eventually slowly go down to about 2.0. You can see it slowly dropping. The computer's making adjustments. This customer brought it here because of concern of the previous shop not possibly doing the work, which we found they didn't. And secondly, they were complaining that after the battery was replaced, the engine idle was all wacky, which makes sense because the relearn wasn't done. There's 3 reasons to relearn throttle adaptations. Number 1, you replace the throttle body or the accelerated pedal. Number 2, you replace the battery. Or number 3, you clean the throttle body. In those instances, you need to do a relearn. We'll go do a road test real quick. We'll be right back. And then we'll show you it's running much better. I'm back, Mrs. Wizard.
Yay, I missed you, dear.
You didn't use any of my toothbrushes again on the cat, did you?
No, I don't have any extra toothbrushes. You already took Daisy's toothbrush.
Okay, so now we're back from the road test. Everything went well. It's idling perfect. Let's go ahead and hook up our scan tool and see what the grams per second are at now. I would have taken you guys on the road test, but it was just there was nothing to show. I did a quick test down the road and back, and it should be happy now. Let's take a look. It should be at or a little bit above the engine liter size. Here we have a 1.8. Let's take a look. In the 2.0 range. That is beautiful. Perfect. It's normal to fluctuate because the engine is fluctuating with air going in and out. It's kind of rising and falling and doing different things. I now know the airflow sensor not only is good, but after the cleaning it's working very well. The throttle body values have been learned after we saw that it actually cleaned it. So now the idle will be perfect. The complaint is gone, and now the services really have been done. So this customer paid almost $800 after tax. Let's see on the invoice, what did they pay for? No crank, no start. It describes that they found a weak battery and they replaced the battery. $241. That's not too bad. But let's move on down. Please clean the throttle body if needed. Obviously it was needed, we saw it was dirty. $327? $327? You guys just saw me with an old toothbrush, which apparently cleaned my cat's mouth. It's now cleaned the car's mouth. We sprayed some of that cleaner in. It took 5-10 minutes. I had to let it dry. I wish I could charge $327 for that. Maybe I need to raise my prices. Now let's look at the next one. Mass airflow sensor cleaning. $121. I have never charged that much for an airflow sensor cleaning in my life. It's usually 75 bucks. Man, these guys are probably making more money than I am. But anyways, you can see that the customer paid, they did get a battery, but we saw they did not get an airflow sensor cleaning or throttle body cleaning because both were very dirty, as if they'd been untouched. Most shops charge something for shop supplies, for rags and hand cleaner and brake cleaner and all the different chemicals we use. It helps pay for those things. I usually charge 20 bucks, 25 bucks. And I've heard people say, oh, that's kind of high. You just wait. After he got his oil changed, they charged him for shop supplies. Let's see what they charged. Here's our oil change, $30, which, okay, that's acceptable. Shop supplies, $66. These are our shop supplies. Even the cat's toothbrush. Thanks, Mrs. Wizard.
You're welcome, dear.
Mrs. Wizard, we need to raise our prices.
No, dear, I think we like to treat people fairly, and that's who we are.
That's true. And we've mentioned many times, people are getting straight gouged out here, like hoodwinked. I feel sorry for this guy. The customer's actually apologetic. He's like, I'm sorry, I got in a hurry, I got in a rush. I should have never went to these people. He said, I needed to get it done. We would love to squeeze in everybody that calls, but these cars we have on the lift, a Testarossa, an NSX, Ferrari 348. If we keep just squeezing in people, oh, well, yeah, we'll squeeze you in, we'll squeeze you in. Those cars on the lift will never get done. They will sit and sit and sit. Finally, I have to say, no, we have work that we got to get done. But we can work you in on this date, such and such. I'm sorry if it doesn't work out. There's many times I've called the doctor and say, I got this or that, I need to get in, and they say, we can't get you in until next month. What do? Curse them out? No. That's just the way things are. That's life. So he went in for a battery. Did they do it? Yep. He asked for a mass airflow sensor cleaning. Did they do it? Nope. They charged him $100 and some. He asked them, please clean the throttle body. Did they do it? You guys saw with your own eyes. No, they didn't. They charged him $327 for nothing. I feel really bad for this customer, and what I'm going to do, I am going to charge him for checking it over and also doing the reset procedure, which needed to be done anyways. But the cleaning we just did, I'm going to let that one go. I'm not even going to charge him for that. It literally took 10 minutes. They wanted to charge him $400. So this video is showing you guys out there, you need to really be careful. Do your research. Go on to Google and say, what is the average cost for an airflow sensor cleaning? Might say 80 bucks, 100 bucks, or whatever. And if you go to a shop and they say, oh, it's going to be 200 bucks, you can say, no, let's stop where we're at. I need to do some second opinions or do some phone calls. I need to figure out what's going on here. This is happening more and more. I actually had a comment not too long ago, Car Wizard out here thinking he's the only good mechanic left. It sure seems that way. This kind of stuff keeps coming through the door every single week. It's sad. If you're curious what kind of tools that we use to clean this, and we might even put a cat's toothbrush on there for you on the Amazon affiliates link description below. There's the scan tools, there's all kinds of tools we use in the shop, and apparently toothbrushes for cats. Make sure to check out Mrs. Wizard's Ways. She's got some great content going on there. Maybe it'll show Daisy brushing her teeth with my toothbrush. And also, hit the subscribe button here because we have many more cool videos to come. And I'm sure there's going to be more scams. Thousands of them. Thanks for watching.